Hello, my dear Sagittarius. This is your love and spirituality reading for the time between November 16 to November 31st. No, 30, 2016. So, November 16 to 17, we have the Leonids meteor shower that was last seen in its greatest magnitude in 2001. It has a yearly shower but peaks every 33 years. Where hundreds of meteors per hour can be seen. The waning gibbous moon from the full supermoon November 14 will block the fainter meteors. In 2001, the meteors could be seen also in sunset and sunrise. I don't know how it will be this time, but it was really beautiful back then, and I took pictures of it. So, November 29, we will have the new moon in daytime. So, my dear Sagittarius, I call the divine with love and light, and I call the 4 archangels in the 4 corners of the world, and I call the 6 elements, earth, wind, fire, water, spirit, and ether, to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading for my dear Sagittarius. I want my dear Sagittarius viewers to have love in their life, to find themselves in loving relationships, and also want them to have creative success and to find themselves walking on their highest road towards spiritual awakening. And also your highest road towards your highest destiny. I want you to fulfill the reasons why you are on earth at this time. So, okay. Just tune in a little bit to you, my dear Sagittarius. Okay, so this is the future, this is the now, and this is, okay, we do this one more time, this is the now, okay, and this is the past. So the now is probably the time between the last part of November 2016. It's easier for me to say. So, okay, I see you have a reversed card here underneath. That might be important, so that might be why it struggled a bit with me. It's the Ace of Wands, so it's kind of the death and the new beginning, trial by fire, and from that situation, hard situation, kind of where you lost a lot of things, new things can grow because you have sacrificed a lot, and the new earth is kind of full with nourishment, and also there's kind of beautiful flowers that only go in full bloom after this kind of forest fire. So often in reality, in earth, those kind of places become natural, like reservoirs where you can't make harm to the nature. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise when you need to sacrifice a lot of things, because new things will come as a new gift after this sacrifice is a new dawn, kind of here. So I'll put it there. Okay, so I never have reversals, so that was interesting. So okay, my dear Sagittarius, here you have a 6 of Wands. 6 of Wands is the victory card. It's being on the right path. It's being on the right way. You have the divine on your side, spiritual kind of guidance. And you're riding high in victory. It might not feel as such because of the recent forest fire, then the sacrifice. So it can be a difficult road, but this is definitely a card about keep on swimming, keep on doing what you are doing. You are on the right path. So it's a beautiful card. And then we have the shadow side. So this is what you need to do now. You're kind of on your way here to, with all this light, to penetrate down through the down to the netherworld, to your dungeons where you're keeping your different soul parts, which haven't been allowed to be out in the open because of you wanting to be loved, you wanting to be accepted. So you have made yourself smaller, you have made yourself adjustable to the environment, and sometimes that's really good. We humans can be like totally out of a balance with nature and everything. So we have tried to be good, we have tried to develop into grown beings, and now it's time to be your full you, and take full responsibility for your actions and be an adult. So it's kind of you taking up those soul parts from the dungeon, from the prison cells where you have put kind of maybe your emotional side and your rebellious side and your strength and everything. And here comes the light, your attention. Six of Wands is messages, attention, spiritual energy, letters sometimes also. And that puts some light on this shadowy place. It's 15, so it's the devil, but it's also connected to number 6, the Lover's card, because here you also put all your needs that you haven't find a way to fulfill. So you say, okay, I can't be hungry today for love because no one is here to love me, so I put this need in the basement. So now it's time for all those things to come up to the surface again. And I think Leo had this card exactly at this position. Not really sure, but it was almost the same anyway. So you might want to watch Leo, the video for Leo as well. And this is what we need to do, because a lot of our strength is here, a lot of our like our way to connect our soul through the empathic little person here, and also how to express our soul's will on earth through our rebellious side, our willpower. We were supposed to be magnificent creatures, having much more of our energy and our feelings and our strength, and we have made ourselves small, almost taken down our wings to fit the room, so to speak. But now it's time for human beings to grow up and be adults, so we need to take responsibility for the whole being that we are. And even though we pick up soul parts from the dungeons, we need to take responsibility for them. And here's the King of Wands, being able to take responsibility for this. So this is, of course, you, and it's also representing a Leo, and it can be also representing for Aries. But usually it's a Leo, because the Leo ornaments here. So again, check the Leo reading. It might be a complementary to this. King of Wands is a person taking responsibility for his actions and his behavior and his shadowy creatures. So he tells exactly what he wants. He says, I love you. I accept that you don't love me, but my love won't go anywhere anytime soon. So you know. This is taking responsibility and still acknowledging what's in the shadow, what you usually want to protect yourself from showing other people. It can also be, yes, I'm very angry with you. This is why I reacted, and this is how I felt, and this is why I'm angry, and this is what I'm going to do. So taking responsibility for the things that you feel and express them also, because you can't suffocate them. You need to express them, but in the King of Wands kind of diplomatic way. Is a powerful king, knowing his worth and not being afraid of exposing himself, because he's strong enough and aware enough in the now to be able to say whatever is there in reality, because no one can use this information against him. That's how strong this person is. And it's because he has he don't hide himself anymore, so there's nothing more to hurt, there's nothing more to touch. He's really open with this and say, okay, that hurt, that felt hurtful, and it's very open with this, and not crumbling under the pressure of what's happening around him, but taking things as they come, solving problems in the order they come, or in the most acute problems being solved in the now, and the rest can be dealt with later. So he's a problem solver, and he's a king, and he's aware of his shadow. So it's a very beautiful thing here that you have, and very fiery, with the Ace of Wands also being the highest energy card in the deck, despite of the sun. So I can show you a little bit better here. So the next fire, and the devil is of course also a little bit fiery. Here you have a 5 of swords. So this might be an outside attack upon you. You see a lot of swords, like people saying a lot of things. It can also be an inside attack upon you, or it can be you attacking another person. It's defeat. It's the fear of defeat. So maybe you are not being able to be pure and honest with what you feel in the way that the King of Wands is, because you fear defeat. But don't do this. Don't fear defeat. Maybe protect yourself when needed. But when you are in the know, and when you have a full vision, like enlightened your shadow side, you won't be so touchy-feely anymore. So whatever people say and do to you won't concern as much anymore, because you are aligned with yourself. You don't question yourself. You're in your own authority. So let them come. Let them speak the things they want to say, and you are going to say, okay, I hear that you accuse me for those things. Is it really what you mean? Okay. Then you can talk back at them and tell them how you feel about this. So you can have an adult discussion instead of someone just coming and accusing you from out of the blue, or trying to. This is the Magician. It's the creator, and the King of Wands is of course also a creator. Both have wands in their hands, and very fiery red like this. So this is a creator. It's a person that have the ability to dream. You can talk about them as writers. Writers that have a vision. They have a vision for the future. They have a vision for how they want their life to be. So they are dreamers and they are creators, because this is how you create a future. You need to start dreaming for your future to be able to have it, to be able to change it, to be able to see something else. It won't come to you just because it's better for you. It will come to you because you are able to dream it. Whatever you are able to envision can manifest in your life. Often we are more keen on thinking of what can go wrong, like what can be destroyed, what can I lose, what can hurt me, what can they say to hurt me, what can they do to hurt me, what would be the worst thing that could happen. So we are very good at envisioning that. So this is also often what we create. But I wish for you, Sagittarius, to be able to envision another future for yourself, something else than defeat. Okay? Try to envision what you want instead of excessively thinking about what you don't want. And concentrate and focus. This is also, Mercury is communication, and this is swords, so it's often also communication, but maybe a bit sharp communication when it comes to 5 of swords. 5 is also always situation in need of change. It's not a harmonious number 5. So it's often like something that you don't want. So don't focus so much on what you don't want. Focus what is instead. So if a person is saying something stupid towards you, you focus on what they said, and you enlighten that, and you talk about that, and you make them see what they said, and make them see how you react upon this, so you can have an adult discussion and come to forward to something instead of and then put your focus on manifesting what you want. You see here that you have fire here. There's 6 of Wands, and here's the Magician. It's a bit fiery too. And here you have things that's not really harmonious. Okay, so we'll see where it goes. It's like every other card here is harmony and disharmony. So the next card for you, it comes underneath 6 of Wands. Very beautiful. Comes the 6 of Cups. So 6 is a harmonious number. It can be divided by even numbers, and it's a quality you see between those people. So here you rode high in victory, and you had like you thought about your honor and strengthening yourself and self-respect and all this. But here you also give respect to someone else. And you are on the same level. Here you're really close to the source, the divine source. You have the home there, and it's a very precious, pristine, beautiful situation with those 2 children. So often this is a situation where you kind of do something, you have a second chance with something and you do it better, and it's a new way of doing it maybe. Like when children comes to our lives, every generation is a bit smarter than the one that were there before. And it's not because they are more highly developed souls, it's because their forefathers, their ancestors have been working to a level which they can come into and grasp immediately. And because they are young and fresh, they take this in much more easy, and they also come straightly from spirit, from the divine. So they have a lot to say about how we should make our future on earth. If we listen to the children, we will have the answers. They are very bright in their and very light in their energy. So it seems it might be a letter coming through or some message for you coming through about some person maybe from the past. Also, it can be a karmic situation, it can be from past lives, but it seems to be a happy situation, something that you have longed for, like nostalgia. I have heard stories about Swedish troops in like 1600 that were outside in Europe and fighting for their king, and they died of something we called nostalgia. It was now it's just a saying, but then it was a disease, an actual disease that kind of broke people's heart because they weren't used to being outside their home. They were maybe have traveled just like the longest route might have been 50 kilometers in their entire life. So going from Sweden down to main Europe is a big step for those people. So it's kind of a homey feelings with this. Maybe coming home, nostalgia, longing for something. Maybe you long for something. Maybe you want to talk with someone, and you fear maybe rejection or defeat here. But you need to focus more on what you want, what you dream of, what you wish to see, instead of being so fearful of what might come instead. Try to be a bit more brave here. The next card for you is Six of Swords. So it's going on with the sixes. It's very beautiful. And it shows that you have been working hard on yourself. And it's kind of, Six of Swords is kind of understanding oneself. So you have the shadow side here and then the Six of Swords. So it's kind of you seeing yourself for who you are, and being able to envision yourself and understand yourself, and also kind of communicating what's inside of here. So maybe you are in the process of being able to tell people how you really feel. And this is actually how you rescue your personalities and your different soul parts from this dungeon. It's by letting them feel the morning air and start to express what they feel. Then they will come back to you. This is soul retrieval, giving attention to the things that you have been trying to avoid to feel and think about. You have just put them there and say, be quiet. And now it's kind of you're voicing them, and you're taking all the experience from what you have been through and moving with this into the future. So it's kind of also how you digest what you have been through, digest your experience, and take them into your boat, take them into your reality. Now you have learned something crucial that you now can use in your future, so you don't have to do the same mistakes again when now this beautiful situation seems to reappear here for you here. So you can be more truthful and talk more truthfully. Okay, so we also have the Queen of Swords really central here. And the Queen of Swords is a person that has a bit of a lonely stroke with them. The King of Wands is not like that, but you can have those different personalities. Like you have one side to you that's very professional and outgoing and easy peasy, everything is nice, all problems can be solved. And you have another side to you that's more cautious, and maybe it's depicted back to your childhood, and you have been wise from experience, so you're taking things a little bit more slow. So that can be another explanation to why you are fearing your future because you are a bit too wise. You think about what has been, and you're thinking that it's going to repeat. And of course, if you're thinking it, it's going to be like that as well. But the Queen of Swords is a smart person, and she is very in tune with the divine. You can see her sword rising up to the heavens here, and she's air, so she's of course very light and fluid, like fluctuative, and also very close to the heavens. And she has the white and the blue here, and blue jays, and a blue little thingy there. I don't remember what their name is. Fairy, yeah, fairy. And beautiful flowers here in her lap, and she sits really on high altitude. So it's something with this, you sitting high up, you're kind of heighting yourself over other people. Try to not be too, remember that we're all the same. So people that you meet, they are only another half of you. So try to treat them with respect. Even if you fear them and you want to position yourself in a higher altitude than them. This is also the place where the hermit lives. So the Queen of Swords is kind of a little bit as a hermit. She has been through so much and experienced so much, so she fears other people and she wants to have them on an arm's length. But I wish for you to be more brave and be able to put yourself in scary situation until you are not scared of them anymore. Try to be a more brave person, and you can use your smartness, okay, to think ahead. That's beautiful, but don't deny yourself from life because of it. So here we have a Four of Cups. Four of Cups is a card that's very stable. 4 is a stable number. It has corners like this card. But it's you see also that this child has put their arms also like this square here, and this mermaid is kind of trying to persuade him into something that goes outside the square, outside your comfort zone. And you see all those fluid waters here, and it comes underneath the Five of Swords. So it's something that you fear again with this. It's something that you don't want to do because you fear it, but the divine is trying to encourage you to actually do this anyway, to face your fears and go for your dream, because it's kind of you are not really living. You are living a bit in the past and dreaming about what was, but you're also fearing the future in some way here. And it looks like a beautiful situation. The blue has turned a little bit more dark, so you might feel really lonely and blue. This can also be this queen. You might have a Queen of Swords in your life. It doesn't have to be you, but as I have said so many times before, what's on your outside would also be on your inside. So you might have this person on your outside as well on your inside. So when you find a person on your outside, it's just so you can magnify and see what you also are doing to yourself and others. So you have a trait with you, and there might be another person also that you might want to come in contact with them because you remember them and you want them. It's kind of a need that hasn't been met, and you have both hope and fear for the future. But what you need to do is find this person within you and embrace them and give them courage, because then the person on the outside of you might also get this courage. So it will go hand in hand. And the next card I have for you is King of Swords. You have the King of Wands with you, but you also have this. It's what I said. You have it on the inside as well as on the outside. So you have kind of a situation where two parties doesn't want to take the step to sacrifice themselves or get in the risk of having a defeat. So no one makes a move, and therefore the thing that they have been dreaming of, this beautiful, beautiful thing here, the needs that they have, can't really be fulfilled because it's a kind of a stalemate here. No one is going to take action. Both is very protective. So I think it's a time where nothing will really move forward because of this is two equal forces meeting, and both have their agenda. as we see here, the King of Swords has the Magician over to top of his head, and the Queen of Swords has the King of Wands. And so that is actually speaking a little bit for the Queen of Swords, who has the King of Wands about, because King of Wands is a warm, generous person. The Magician is a little bit egocentric, as is sometimes the King of Swords when he's badly depicted with the yellow here. That's very egocentric energy. It's from your solar plexus. It's when you are kind of 3 years old and finally find out that you have a I want, I need, I will have. So both those two together is kind of very much like so, like a 3-year-old. So this one is more, little bit more compassionate for also other people. Then we have the future for you here, and there comes a beautiful Empress card. So Empress is about abundance, and it's about mother, it's about the divine feminine, it's about giving, also giving of yourself, like without restriction, like a flower giving off its scent, and like the deer giving its life to the hunter, or the mother giving milk and giving birth to her children. So it's a very beautiful card about sacrificing oneself for others. And I think this is a little bit the key to how to comfort here. The one that's doing this is the one that's kind of having the divine support, because we want to reach to a higher level of understanding and love. Of course, this is the solution of all the problems we have as human beings. If we can step outside our own sphere and find our compassion and give it to others. But if you meet a person that's kind of not wants to give, you can't continue give unconditionally, because this is only going to give this King of Swords here the energy to keep on moving and being egocentric. So sometimes you need to say no. So here you have a karma card. And karma card is kind of being an adult, stepping up to the situation, solving the problem, facing your illusions, facing the truth, seeing. It's kind of getting it's sometimes, I can depict it sometimes as a young man finally growing up and want a family of their own. It's kind of being like a wise person. But we have the moon here blocking the sun. So this is kind of the fear that make people not take responsibility for the whole. They just take responsibility for their own little tiny bit, and they forget about that we are connected and that we need to be there for everyone and not just save our own little butts. So this is the card about this. Are you going to step up to the situation and take care of the whole, or just your little part? But as I said before, it's different for different people what kind of situation you are in. Sometimes to wake a person that doesn't want to take responsibility, the ones that usually do take responsibility, needs to step back and let the other one be able to do their fair share. And say, yeah, well, nothing will be done if you don't do your fair share. I won't do it. I have done enough. So it's kind of how you get your teenager to be adult. If no one does the wash their clothes, they need to do it. They need to start doing it. So in a certain point in a person's development, you need to put more responsibility on them. And this is what we see here with the judgment. The mother can't, forever and ever care for her children and see to that they don't need to face adulthood. They don't need to face their fears, their shadows, their bad sides. She can have been curling them her whole life. And then one day she needs to step up the business. Here now you need to take responsibility for who you are. You need to take responsibility for your own actions. And this might be going on also in an adult relationship between lovers or friends, or also in a working place where you need to step down and let your coworkers actually do their job instead of you always taking up the stuff after them. So here's an Ace of Swords. And it comes, you see, Ace of Wands, that's where a special card for you, and King of Wands, and then Queen of Swords and the Sword. So this is kind of a very symbolic situation with the masculine willpower and also the masculine sword power, like air. You have the feminine aces, that's the pentacles and the cup, but this is willpower, and this is all speaking the truth. So it seems like you need to take your willpower and let your feminine side, the mother, starting to speaking the truth, even if she sometimes needs to hurt her children with the truth. Like, you need to take responsibility for your own actions here. So your feminine side needs to start to talk, needs to start to say yes and no, and need to be more in self-respect. You have the Queen of Swords really central. She's a very wise woman. She's very just. And maybe you need to step away a little from humanity, from being this caring person, and standing in your own right to make the other side here maybe take a little bit more responsibility for their own actions. Yes, here comes a Knight of Swords. So you might find yourself being in a situation with opposition, because this young teenager or this irresponsible person, it can be you, it can be a person close to you, doesn't want to take responsibility because they don't want to be defeated. They have learned like the only way to survive is to protect my ego, to see to that I'm the winner, to see that I am right, and I can make the people around me with large enhancing my voice, maybe having a sharper tone. I can make people around me do what I want them to do. But now the mother here, the feminine giving aspect, it can be a man, it can be a woman, it can be a child, it could be a grown-up, it could be a husband, it could be a wife, whomever that usually take the responsibility and is the giver, is now raising their voice back. This is a person seeing things from above and seeing that, okay, there needs to be a little bit more truth telling here. I need to use my willpower, I need to use my voice to challenge this person that's always not taking responsibility because they don't want to sacrifice themselves. They are very afraid of exposing their heart, not like the Queen of Wands that very easily say, yes, I love you, but I don't want to have this and this. This one never wants to tell what's in their heart, never wants to admit to defeat, and always want you to cave. And so, as I said, this could be you or it could be another person. But there's going to be a showdown here. And it was the same with both Virgo and Leo, is what I have had time to do as of yet. And they had the same situation. So I think humanity as a whole is going through some profound change where people not having been able to take responsibility before will be forced to take it now, not because we look down on them or we are going to put them like in place, no, because it's loving to do so. It's loving to let people grow. It's not loving to do more than your fair share, over functioning and make the other person's black sheeps. Let them be able to take responsibility. Let them be able to do their fair share. Let them be able to grow by stepping back with your curling and also being more firm with what you want and how you want things to be done. Because you have the King of Wands and King of Swords really central here. Shows me that you have the brain capacity and the compassion to be able to do this justly without hurting someone unnecessarily. So here's a Ten of Swords, so it's kind of the ego dying maybe. So it might be a hard blow for one person here, or the relationship or whatever. So it might be the end for a while anyway. But this card is about this, what I have said with the victim and with the perpetrator, that this situation need to be over and done with. We can't be doing this to one another anymore, and we can't like give someone the victory just because they heighten their voice or they are showing their power. This is not how. We don't want the strong ones to rule the earth. We want the loving one to rule the earth. So it's time for the loving one to actually not be backstabbed anymore, and maybe take the flight of the owl and leave the situation if that's the only wise thing to do. So you're going to be put here upon facing some resistance. So if you are a spiritual awakened person that has like kind of beginning to see the shadow bit in you and others, and to be able to be an adult, you will take control over this situation, and you will face this opposition with comity, with diplomacy, and with not backing down. Decide for what you want and don't back down. Don't sell yourself short, because it won't lead to anything good for you to sell yourself short. This is a showdown for, what I said before, the loving person to rule the earth instead of the one that shouts the highest or strongest or making the most noise or coming with the most evil threats. Okay. Power to love. So, okay, thank you, my dear Sagittarius, for watching and for liking and subscribing, and also for all of your beautiful comments. I'm to tears sometimes when I read this, and I also laugh a lot with you. You are so humble, and you're working so hard to try to better yourself and have more beautiful life, and I have so much hope for humanity now. You didn't have the death card. You had the 10 of swords, but the other Leo and Virgo have had the death card. So this is the minor arcana death card, so it's kind of changed. There needs to be change. So I see like a peaceful revolution within humanity. We're just rising up and saying, okay, we want change. We can envision a new future for ourselves, that where we don't do this stupid game anymore and keep quiet when someone is doing something that's not right. We are going to speak for truth now, and for serenity, and from our source, from our soul. So it's very beautiful. So my dear brave Sagittarius, take really good care, and I hope to see you again in the beginning of December. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.